Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this next episode of the Church Encourager podcast. I had the privilege of getting to do Kingdom Alignment Part 6. We talked about fasting, and as is tradition here on our Church Encourager podcast, the pastor who preaches gets to answer the questions, and that was me. So, Dad, I will let you ask the questions, which is just as much fun, I think.
Yeah, well, it certainly changes things around, doesn't it? And then whichever one of us is asking questions will probably jump in with their own thoughts.
I'm
So
sure you're going to come in here soon too. Yeah, it's hard for
that kind of,
pastor to not pastor, and yeah.
yeah. And it was a great message. You did a great job.
Well, thank you.
Interesting subject, fasting. And with a lot of these subjects, I think people are sort of, well, they're kind of ready for you to tell them how to do it. And that's not the thing here. And then oftentimes what they've heard about these subjects has sort of caused people to put them away somewhere where they don't really listen anyway.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like the reality is what we're doing is all Jesus was doing here was aligning hearts. That's everything that's going on with the series. So fasting reveals what we truly hunger for. And so let's see, where should we go with this? It was a great comparison. You said hunger is like a warning light on a car dashboard, and I like that. And it was funny because you did blow a truck up, and on the 7 Mile Bridge, no less.
Oh yeah.
Engine blew up.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that in mind, what are some warning lights in your own life that might be pointing to a deeper spiritual need? I mean, what can we sort of maybe learn about what's going on so we can address it before the truck blows up on the 7 Mile Bridge?
Yeah, I think how we respond to the people around us. Are we acting sharply? Are we just reacting coldly? And we can do this to our closest family members. If we've said on this podcast several times, if we're working on something, we tend to just zone in. And if we're presented with a question of some sort that we find is not useful at the given moment, we may respond in great anger, or and I'm certainly capable of doing that. And so I feel like it's easier to fall into that when we're disconnected spiritually from God. And if we just kind of jump in and we don't take the time that we need with our Lord, it's far easier to be sharp. And it's it can be damaging. We can hurt our kids' feelings, our spouse's feelings, our parents' feelings. We've probably done that to each other in our past, and I'm not too big to not admit it or to admit it. I don't know what the right grammar is there, but that would probably be one of the big ones for me. Would just be my reactions. When I'm well, I have more patience. When I'm not connected, when I'm not well, I can be very easily frustrated. So that would probably be like one in my life that I would say
That's
I
good.
should look out for. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a good warning light too.
Yeah.
If I find myself being short and sharp, it generally means I probably should stop and refocus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very true. Sometimes when you come by that naturally again. When I'm working on something and I'm like really working on it, it sometimes I feel distracted, and yet the person is far more important than whatever I'm
Yeah,
working on. I
absolutely.
mean, always 100 times, always, and yet we can sort of get that. So I totally understand it, but that's a great warning light. And um, the you said that fasting was a way to clear the table of our hearts so we can make space for God. And what are some lesser things that sometimes clutter our hearts, if you would, and crowd out time with the Father?
We say it all the time. Social media, it's a big time suck, a big killer, and it just, if I stay on it for a little too long, my mood is impacted. I'm angry at things that really don't that I can't control. you see things and like, and then you just kind of keep scrolling. It numbs your mind. So that would be one thing that's just really unnecessary. And uh, I had gotten off of it for a little bit, and then you get bored one day, and then the stupid things in your brain start firing that say, "Ooh, bright colors," and funny videos and stuff. Um, and yeah, that's just, oh, it's so annoying. It's like I'd rather be productive. So one of the things I try to do is rather than do that, I just clean something. It doesn't even matter if it's already clean, but if it's my counters, if it's an appliance, if it's just something, it's like, well, I'd rather take this nervous energy and do something productive than scroll on my phone, because you can pray as you're cleaning. You can you can spend time with the Father that way. If you just need to do something else, it's hard to just sit in one spot. And you should just be able to do that, right? And that's something we should be able to do that. And there's times for that, but as life goes on, you kind of have to do certain things. So pray as you're doing that. That's helpful. And I find that if I'm praying as I'm doing that, then my responses are also softer and kinder. Whereas if I do them out of anger, as I've mentioned, or annoyance, then the responses are less good. Because I think I've mentioned in an episode past, like, just folding laundry will make me angry. That's just why am I doing so? I'd rather clean something than fold laundry. Um, why bring that up right now? It's just, again, these are all good things, right? Our phones are wonderful things. They allow us to connect. They allow us to communicate. We have our Bibles on them. But the danger is that it's very easy to get distracted. And so being conscientious of that and intentionally not opening up the Instagram reels or whatever, that's something that gets on the table and can clutter our heart for sure.
Yeah, and I it's interesting for me. You brought that up. I in last August, I basically went off of Facebook. Rarely, sometimes somebody will say something, and I'll go look for something in particular. But I've gotten off of just the constant scrolling.
Yeah.
And years ago, like, it was 2008. I got off the constant news. Um, and yet those things still have a pull. Um, so, and that may not be everybody. That's my personality. That's why, for me, those are the kind of things I have to. So it's not really a fast for me. It's like I need to separate
It's
myself
just,
from it
it's a, yeah,
because
right.
I'm not disciplined enough, I guess. And so I don't want those things impacting me. And yet, and then I've had people ask, well, what do you do instead? Because there's time, and because I'm not always gonna get serious in my Bible at that moment. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
mean, I do all the time, but and so I play like Sudoku. I don't, and 2 or 3 games of that, and I'm done. That's enough. But it gives my brain something to do, and it's not it doesn't get me thinking about all kinds of other stuff I don't need to think about.
Right.
So I still like the phone for that. But it's finding those things. You know, the idea behind even fasting is, what is it that if I can't do makes me angry
Mhm.
or makes me unsettled or causes me issues? And those are the kind of things that's probably a clue that they're getting in the way of something else.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
what's more important. So it's sort of not being all mean and judgy, and we sometimes would start getting all people beat up on themselves. What is it? And then start making movement away from it. And as you make some movement away from it, fill that time with better things. And then go in that direction. It's a constant. I'm 66 now, and I can see the pull still. And at your age, there's a pull. The younger, the kids, I mean, I don't. The pull on them is like
Yeah.
they almost can't take it. When it's been years now since phones started happening. I can remember trying to get younger people that work for us to not turn on their phones at work, and they couldn't even, it didn't even compute. I remember when I, as a young person, I went to work. You weren't on the phone. You couldn't call home. You didn't, unless it was an emergency, you just didn't.
Right. Yeah.
And you get in trouble at work for, and now it's like it's part of their brain is connected. We quit the fight, right? Whatever. It's just do your job. And they seem to be able to multitask. But
We've just gone into the boomer segment of the show.
sorry. Well, some people are going to relate
Them
to
kids on their phone too much. They're ruining their brains.
Well, after I'm no, it doesn't anger me anymore. It's just, I get it. They can't, they literally cannot separate from it. And I'm glad that I still can. I mean, it's become a part of life. You're the boomer section for those people that are my age. We didn't,
there's wisdom there. Just stay off of them. What is it digitally native? Is that the term they use to describe like kind of younger than me down? They're just grew up in a digital environment where it's just constantly connected. Like I can remember a time, where we had to go to the movie store to rent a movie. It was a VHS, and you had to manually rewind it before you returned it. I remember the dial-up internet days. I remember not having it. Like I remember using a rotary phone, and it's
but how quickly that's changed, because I'm so old, I can remember having a party line on the phone where half the neighborhood used it.
Yeah.
And it rang into your house, but anybody could pick it up,
there was one line and several of different versions of that line throughout the house. Yeah.
So, yes. And then all these things, my point was they crowd out that time with God.
Yep.
And so all of the you said this too, all of the advancements that are supposed to make us more time seem to take more time.
Yep.
I mean, we have devices and equipment and machines that do everything that used to be time consuming. And yet we still struggle to find 5 minutes to go hang out with God. I mean, that's because the enemy's hard at work on the other side. So we have to constantly be looking. And the idea behind fasting is it gets our hearts aligned again. It's not okay. It's not, and all of these things, none of these things are performative. You said that, which was a really important idea that you had. And so it can't be for show. And so it's always about connecting with God. So in what areas of your spiritual life might you be tempted toward performance over authenticity?
Oh, that's a good one. I just because I work in ministry, right? It's like, Lord, look at what I've done for you. That's that thought has come across my desk. It's so easy to think like, man, all these things that I do, we'd all be lost if I wasn't here, and it's really not the case. Like the Lord's going to move through regardless of my performance in the day. The Lord will have his way. But it can be hard being someone in my position to not make just everything I do a performative thing. So, the Lord is faithful. He keeps me humble. Plenty of failures along the way, but that's one of the things that can happen is a performative thing. And that, I was talking with somebody after the sermon Sunday too. And, I was thankful that I got positive feedback on a sermon about fasting. I was really encouraged by that. And, we were just talking about it. And I was like, anytime in any of our relationships, you do something to get something, it's kind of gross. It's kind of toxic. And, the example I used was, okay, honey, I just cooked you dinner, rub my feet. She's probably not going to do that terribly willingly, right? It's, you do what you need to do out of love. It's just not saying, well, I'm doing this to get this. It's just, this is what's right. And I do this because I love you and you don't owe me anything. And it's more from that mindset where we really benefit from fasting. We don't fast to get something out of it. We don't lead worship to get something out of it. We don't do all these things so that God rewards us. We do them just because he is who he is, and he's worthy. And he gives us just so many blessings. And but yeah, I think all of us, it can be hard to not make things performative. We all want to earn our way into heaven. Just we're like giving. We would, what's it going to cost me? to, and it's like that's really not the whole point of Christianity. It's new life. It's connection with God now. And fasting is one of those things that allows us to be with God now and to focus on him. And that was really just the heart of the message is what can we strip away so there's more time with the Father. And getting to that is what's important. And it's not, well, I haven't eaten for a week and now God, you must do as I say. That's the danger, I think. And I've seen that on the internet and surely, and people trying to do that. And not that it's bad to fast for a specific thing either. I don't want to like knock it either, but doing it with the expectation that you have to be listened to is where it could be problematic. So we fast with humility. I think that's what Jesus was telling us, not out of performance, but just authenticity. We do it to be with the Father. That was why Jesus fasted. He did it to be with the Father.
Right.
That was
All these things have to be inward out, or else
Yep.
we'll do it for wrong reasons. It's, giving, praying, fasting are all to get our hearts aligned with the Lord so that we're clued up with his will, not the other way around.
Mhm.
And yet, most people have it that they are doing those things for things. And Jesus is challenging that in a very kind way, but he definitely is challenging it. And everybody needs to have a private life with God, particularly those people who have a public life with
Yeah.
God.
Absolutely.
Even more so, because if all you have is a public life, that's not gonna last. And there's a lot of things that happen. All right, last thing. You close with the idea that true freedom is not found in getting everything you want, but in wanting the one who gives us life. And I think that's a great definition of freedom. It's not about doing and getting what we want. It's about hanging out with the one who gives us life. And does that encourage or challenge you in this current season of life?
I think it encourages me. We all have aspirations. We'd all like things, uh, you know, but just getting to the point where we're content and just being with the Father and being able to say, "Thank you, Lord, for everything." Um, that's huge. If our whole lives are spent on just wanting more and striving for more and pushing for more, then we end up missing what we have in the now. So, and you've been telling me that for years. It's just, hey, don't wish this time away. Enjoy what you have now. And it's so easy for us to just kind of take for granted what we have in today and be like, well, I really want to get to this point. And so, I would say that it's encouraging for me in this season where if I have Father, I have everything I need. And he's good. And he wants to bless us. He wants to take care of us. But pursuing him first and foremost is where it all starts.
Good. Yeah, really good. And good discussion, great podcast. Happy that we could spend some time on here with anybody that's watching, and looking forward to the one on Thursday. We're talking about what's coming up. Got some interesting stuff coming up. It's about treasure. And so I've been praying about it and getting ready for it. And then the treasure. And then I keep thinking, I feel like a pirate, arr, keep one. And I think it's so silly, but just
But
because
that's kind of, hey, we're in the
pleasure in it.
Caribbean, right? That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
works maybe, but
yeah,
we probably
yeah,
won't go too far with the pirate theme. I don't know how appropriate that would be.
yeah,
But
probably not.
anyway, it's going to be a really good message, I'm sure. Thank you all for being here for this podcast. We will see you soon.